Hi, my name is Orlando.
And I'm Myke
And this is
Let's Talk About Film.
Live from McGaffin Studios in Toronto, Canada, let's talk about film with Myke and Orlando Giraldo.
Thank you for watching our episode. Mike, what are you having up to these days?
I've been rehearsing for an upcoming concert that I'm playing with my collaborator, Shreen. It's going to be Saturday, February 28th in Toronto's Kensington Market at Harmony Cafe. What have you been up to recently, Orlando?
I'm working in 3 projects. A short film called Reincarnation. We are working in another show that I cannot talk about because I signed a release form, but you will hear about it in the future, and we're working on the podcast. And remember to subscribe,
Comment,
share,
and like.
So today we have something very special for you. You know what that is, Mike?
I do. We're going to be talking about music in film.
How do you define that?
I define music's role in film as primarily emotional. It's used a lot for cues, for guiding the story in an audible way.
The filmmakers will have an intention when they choose the music for different scenes. It's definitely one of those important components of the filmmaking process. By the way, Mike, you have some experience in scoring yourself, but before that, tell me a little bit how you started music.
I started playing guitar primarily because of campfire sing-alongs. I went to a summer camp when I was growing up, and I loved being a part of the sing-alongs, and I said, I want to be playing that guitar one day. How about yourself, Orlando? What's your experience with music and creation?
When I was a kid, I always had interest in music. Even if I didn't know how to play it, I always saw the instruments of people playing guitars. I remember being 7 years old and I was in this house. There was this electric guitar hanging in the wall and a picture of Elvis Presley. Eventually, I learned how to play the guitar, and I wrote a couple of songs when I was 14 years old. Scores of any movie that you like, or any score composers that you enjoy?
I do. There's a couple that are top-notch in my mind. One of them, Bernard Herrmann, I worked a lot with Hitchcock, but also more along the sci-fi realm of things, Jerry Goldsmith. In particular, the 1990 Total Recall Schwarzenegger, Paul Verhoeven film. Fantastic, atmospheric, very eerie at the right moments.
On a side note, the original director of that film was initially David Cronenberg.
Who do you look to as one of your favorite composers?
I grew up with Steven Spielberg films, and he mostly used John Williams as his score composer. Also, he did the score for Superman 1978, Raiders of the Lost Ark 1 and 2. But when I started enjoying more films, I discovered mostly composers from the New Wave era, like Georges Delerue. And obviously, the original Rocky movie, Bill Conti. His score influenced millions of people around the world. Now, to talk about film scoring, we should talk about the creative process of creating a song. And who better than Myke to explain how he writes a song?
When I pick up the guitar to write a song, it's normally because I'm inspired. I've been humming a tune that's come to me for days. I'll get home, maybe I'll record a voice demo so I don't forget it. Get home, pick up the guitar, strum some sympathetic chords, and I might then add some lyrics to the melody that I've come up with. That's my typical workflow for writing a song.
Even artists like the Beatles use these techniques. In particular, I heard a story about John Lennon coming with a song which he only had one part, and then they asked Paul McCartney, if he had the other part. So they joined together. Have you heard about this, Mike?
Yeah, that was a typical workflow for the Beatles, but I think you're getting at A Day in the Life from the Sgt. Pepper album.
They start building the song in parts because the rhythm of Paul McCartney was different to John Lennon. They have to leave a placeholder, which is something that we do in film a lot, of 21 bars. So they have their roadie, Mal
Evans,
to count 21 bars, and his voice made it to the end of the mix. And they took them weeks to work in the song to build very complex little itty bitty stuff in the studio. And that can be related to film and how a score is composed. Now we're going to talk about our experiences of film scoring. And I know you have a few of those. In a film called The Green Triangle, can you tell us about that?
Absolutely, love to. The Green Triangle was a short film production that you were involved in.
Yeah, I was playing the character of Gabriel. It was directed by Dimitri Dolgov, the year 2018, and it was our first apprentice experience. Tell me a little bit about that process.
The process was I got some script samples and I got some visuals from the footage to work with. Picked up my guitar and I read and I watched some of the footage and I tried to match the spirit and the tone and the pacing of the scenes as well.
When you read the script of The Green Triangle, what was you feeling?
I felt it was honestly a very soulful film. The characters each have something at stake, so I wanted to bring something musically that was appropriate and that would enhance that.
A music cues a specific segment or piece of music used for a specific part of a movie that has an emotional purpose by the director, or to enhance the performance or drive the attention of the viewer to a specific situation in the scene, depending of the creative decisions of the director. Is that what you did in The Green Triangle, Mike?
That's pretty much exactly the approach that I took. I wanted to create these musical moments that would enhance the visual experience. Music is often undervalued as part of a contribution to the movie's soundtrack.
But it's very important to say that the music is gonna take the experience to the next level. Music is what gives the soul to a piece. It can fix or break your film.
Absolutely. Craft accordingly. Some experience as well with composing for film.
Yes, I do. When I started working in the film clash after we did the Green Triangle with Dimitri Dolgov, I had this note, this music on my head for months and months and months and months. One day in around 2019, I decided to have my guitar and start playing the chords. I play some chords and I use the sample of my guitar and I start playing some chords, as you can listen right now. I was fascinated also with the keyboards, and I decided to just go the keyboards and I started playing with the keyboards, as you can hear right here. I contact a friend who is an award-winning composer, Andrés Galindo Arteaga, who did the music for the film.
So I remember I met Orlando officially on 2017. We met on this seminar organized by the DGC, the Directors Guilds of Canada, and the seminar was about film scoring, and the special guest was Hans Zimmer. So when the event finished at that time, we went to this pub to have a conversation and introduce ourselves, and at that time Orlando was working with director Dimitri Dolgov on a film called The Green Triangle. So he was acting in that film and producing at that time. And later on, well, I sent my demos to him, and he reached out back at the beginning of 2019, and he briefly talked to me about a script that he has just finished, and he was about to shoot his film in a couple of weeks. So for me, it was very nice to hear from him again and have that surprise of, hopefully work with him in this project. The rest was about him showing me afterwards the rough demo, and then we went from there. How is the basis of a collaboration with a director and a composer? Talk about the story, talk about what the character's intention is. There was a lot of points that we talked with Orlando at the beginning when we were kind of like testing the waters, right? So I tried to do first a main theme or for the opening sequence. The opening sequence is called The Call of the Warrior. And I incorporated these elements from horn, something triumphant, but at the same time having that sense of tension, right? Having that sense of conflict. So going from there, I'd received obviously notes from Orlando that I needed to change the first cue in things that he felt that it was grandizing the scene for what it was, right? So I proceeded to make those changes, and everything from there was kind of like flowing better. And yeah, I mean, it's always like that, right? It's always finding that sweet spot and that primary function that I can do to help to tell his story, which is the main goal, right?
I see it.
Right there, we're meeting with Andres and we're discussing the cues of the film. That's what you do with the composer. How was your meeting with Dimitri? What did you guys talk about in your first meeting?
Actually, that's a good question. Our meetings were all virtual. Like, we corresponded. It was all text-based. We'd email back and forth.
There was no exchange of creative or anything like that. It was like
There was
at this, at that, change this.
There was feedback like, oh, I feel that a little slower in this segment here, or could you make it more sharp, you know? And so I would translate. Part of the job of a composer is to translate the more visual descriptions that you're given by the director or the producer. Yeah, that was a lot of fun, a lot of interpretation.
So there's a little of the music video right here.
Maybe love could save the world from total disaster.
Just so you know, the music video that you saw a fragment of was a fully recorded song of mine. We ended up doing a full-out music video to it, just to accompany the release of the film, and that was fun to do as well.
What was the origin of this song, Mike?
The origin of Just Maybe was born in the late after hours one day a few years ago, and it just sat on sort of unreleased on this little CD that I gave out to a few friends, and then I sent you a copy of that as an MP3, and you were like, this is a really good song, can we put it in the green triangle?
Now we're gonna move to the segment where how can we suggest for you if you're making a movie. First thing is to collaborate. There's a lot of eager filmmakers, a lot of eager composers who want to put the music right there. So one of the things that I find very useful is just go to film groups, talk to a novice composer, and then you guys can share some ideas and come out with your clues for the film.
There's a lot of people that'll not do it for the exposure per se, but they'll work with you on a budget level. Like I will work with people if it's an idea that really resonates with me.
And also, what I have done in the past myself, I'm doing a documentary called Sueña, and we're working with this band called Tránsito Libre in Pereira. I'm gonna use their songs. I'm allowed to use their songs because they're my friends and some friends and they are very famous in Pereira. So I'm gonna use their music which is right here.
Going out to events, sharing who you are, what you do, what you love about their music, that'll help as well. It never hurts to ask, hey, do you have some experience composing for film or for content creation? For me, it's about building the relationships.
Or you can use royalty-free music. You have any other ideas, Mike?
As the filmmaker, you can do it yourself. John Carpenter often did that.
And that's the end of the show for today. Thank you guys for joining us.
Live from McGaffin Studios in Toronto, Canada, let's talk about film with Myke Matse and Orlando Giraldo.